All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Crown Council Live. I'm Stuart Anderson. This is our weekly program to connect with the Crown Council community. Grateful to be with you. We've been doing this program for 3 years, every Thursday, 11 o'clock Mountain Time. Sometimes we do these live shows. Sometimes we do educational webinar. And that's what we did last week. We met with Steve and we talked about some incredible perio skills, helping those patients say yes to perio treatment. And we were grateful for Steve and thankful for the time spent there. That recording has been posted to the Crown Council Premium membership, so you can rewatch it. And the CE is also available. So grateful for the time spent there. We'll do another one, another educational webinar, not next week, but the next week, our case acceptance webinar with Steve, and we'll have the registration form out soon for that. So grateful to join you today. We've got some fun, 2 live guests. I've got a recorded segment and a few other things. Before we jump into our first guest, who's already in the waiting room, I wanted to just share my screen real quick and talk to you about our weekly Smiles for Life um, totals update. So let me share my desktop. Okay, this is crowncouncil.com. And if you go to my directory up here in the premium member hub, and then to the Smiles for Life whitening campaign totals right here, every week we update the totals, and it is fun to get a running look at who is donating. Some of our top offices this week. Man, $5,600 donated last week from Shelbyville West. That is the Mortensen Family Dental Practice, and Friendly Dentistry with $2,315. Dr. Alan Thomas, over 15,000 already, and then you can scroll down and take a look at some of our top offices. This is our Smiles for Life Whitening Charitable Program, where Ultradent donates all of our whitening supplies, and the Crown Council offices donate their whitening charitable money that they collect to children's charities, local charities, our Teammates for Kids partners, our humanitarian trips to the Dominican Republic and Mexico. So incredible to see almost $500,000 raised so far. We're 2 months in. Today marks the 2 months mark. We have two more months to go. So uh, very good job, Crown Council. We're grateful for everybody who is contributing and continuing to work the Smiles for Life campaign so well. What an incredible program, our 28th year, and over $52 million donated so far. So well done. If you want to participate in the Smiles for Life Whitening campaign, we can still sign you up. It's a turnkey charity where we send you a marketing box and get you all the supplies that you need to participate in Smiles for Life. An incredible way to build stories in your community, to generate new patients, and to do a practice that is doing good inside your practice, inside your community. So if you want to participate, we'd love to have you, and you can reach out to the Crown Council. You can call us or you can email me, and we'll get you set up. So very good. All right, I want to bring in our first guest. This is Ashley. We've never met Ashley before, but we've got a great story from Ashley as she comes in. So I'll let Ashley introduce herself. Ashley, how are you?
I'm so good, Stuart. How are you?
We're very grateful to have you. I was just saying this is your first time, uh, your company's first time, your first time on the live stream. So we're grateful to have you as part of the show.
Oh, I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So, kind of a, I mean, it's not a funny story, but I'll kind of set up Ashley real quick. On Monday, Greg sent out an email to the email network, so 1,200 doctors, and he said, "Hey, tell us about what everyone's doing for patient financing. What solutions have you found that are helpful?" And I'm not exaggerating. Um, I have never seen it's been a long time since we've seen a response like this. That the company that was talked about is the company that Ashley is from. So Cherry was talked about, and I have the emails here in front of me. I mean, there were like 9 or 10 Crown Council members. I'll read one from Joseph Westover. This is so good. So his email comes through. He says, "In all honesty, I had no idea we were using Cherry as one of our patient financing office options. I just knew that we were doing more comprehensive dentistry and the procedures that we love. So I asked my manager, and she said, "Oh, we love Cherry." So enough said. We signed up, and most of the emails coming from the Crown Council members were like this. So very fun. And so I asked Ashley, we asked Cherry to come on, introduce yourselves, talk a little bit about what you do, and introduce yourself to Crown Council. Is that an okay introduction, Ashley?
Yeah, that's wonderful. Absolutely. So I'll add just a little bit if that's okay, Stuart.
Yeah,
So
let's
I
do it.
actually have dental background, right? So I was an office manager, a dental hygienist, and a treatment coordinator. I've been in dentistry for 17 years. I actually, at my previous office, worked with Crown Council and TOPS. So I'm
No
super
way.
excited to be, yeah, I'm
Nice.
super
Okay,
excited to
cool.
be here. So I actually moved to Cherry, to working with Cherry, because I moved away from my previous office. I loved the office that I worked at, but we moved about 5 hour north, and I was like, I loved using Cherry. I was like, I have to offer Cherry to more patients. And really, what Cherry is trying to do is we are trying to be the healthiest possible option for both the patient base and the practice. Our main goal is to help offices increase case acceptance and for patients to be able to get healthy. That is what drives us. That is why we are here. That is why you're seeing huge success with Cherry into offices, because we are truly focused on white glove service. We're focused on being there, supportive for our office. We're focused on getting as many patients approved as we possibly can and getting your treatment case up.
Very cool. Well, I mean, let's just dive into this real quick. In your eyes, Ashley, what do you think is separate? I'm not saying that there's not a lot of great options for patient financing, but
For sure.
what are people in your experience? How are you different? Can you talk about that?
You got it. Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. So payment plans are the way of the world, right? That is what I mean, we're trained as people to do payment plans. Our mortgages, our payment plans, our car
Mm.
costs, everything we're doing is a payment plan per se, right? And now we're seeing subscription-based things, buy now, pay laters everywhere that are popping up. Dentistry is so incredibly far behind when it comes to patient financing.
Mhm.
Okay, we suffer because we don't proactively offer a solution and build that trust and rapport with our patients. That is what Cherry is doing differently. We are asking our offices, we're challenging our offices. We're saying, hey, like change is scary, right? Introducing something new to
Mm.
your patient base is terrifying. Like I know my doctor would be like, hey, Ashley, we're doing something different. And I'm like, oh, another thing that I have to add to my day, right? Like it's so
Right.
stressful. But Cherry makes it so simple. It makes it so the conversations with the staff and the patient are easier, not more difficult. It's less time consuming than other services. We are approving a significantly lower credit score, so way more patients are going to get approved. We are functioning off of soft credit checks only.
Mm.
COVID destroyed people's credits, right? So
Yeah.
we do not want to hit their credit further if we don't have to. We are offering patients, this is my favorite, true 0% interest, not deferred interest. Okay.
Mm.
We will never punish a patient for something they paid us for on time. That's just not fair. Okay. And then also our practice fees are significantly lower. We are truly trying to reward practices that are actively using us, seeing the success
Mm.
with us, trying to increase their case acceptance. And by them doing that, we want to reward the practice, right?
Cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very good. Um, I know maybe let's start at ground zero for just 1 second. For a team that's never offered patient financing, like you said, maybe they're a little behind. Um, can you talk about the broader value that this brings to patients and then just to the practice as a whole? Just maybe start from ground zero where somebody asks you, tell me about how patient financing works in the office.
You got it. Okay.
Okay.
So patient financing comes into play when a patient obviously can't afford treatment, right?
Okay.
So, a lot of our patient base, money is scary. Money is embarrassing. We don't
Mm.
want to talk about money. We don't want to bring up our concerns. If we don't have enough money to pay for something, it's very hard for a patient to come out and ask, hey, do you have
Mhm.
an option that I can use, right? That's a very
Yeah.
embarrassing thing for a patient to say and ask. So, what patient financing allows us to do is it allows us to offer something that can aid that patient in moving forward with treatment when they cannot financially afford it.
Mm.
So, the benefit for an office that is currently not offering patient financing is that you now proactively can say, we have a solution for you. You can build rapport, you can build trust, you can now advocate for your patients to move forward. This is showing your patient, hey, instead of me just saying your treatment is going to cost $5,000 out of pocket today, how are you going to pay for it? Right now, I'm
Mhm.
saying, hey, Ashley, it looks like your total treatment cost is going to be $5,000, but don't worry. We can possibly get you payments around 161 a month. Let's
Mm,
have you go ahead and apply for Cherry today, and let's see what you would qualify for,
very
right?
cool.
You can just feel the change, right? I would much rather present that to my patient than just say, okay, your total treatment's going to be 5,000 and then
Yeah, good
wait.
luck.
What's the
Yeah.
response going to be,
Can you
right?
do it? Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
cool. But that leads me into kind of this next idea, which is from your experience, and I love that you've worked in a dental practice before. What are some of the biggest misconceptions that when you present this to a dental team, what do they have? What are the biggest misconceptions about patient financing? Maybe um, why when Cherry is presented to an office manager, what are they saying? Like, oh no, we can't do that. We can't offer that. That what are some of the misconceptions?
You got it. So I love this question. Number one, I feel that most of our misconceptions come from what the patients are telling us. We're not
Mm,
actively applying for these services every day. So I think a lot of times, patients will come in and they've tried to apply for a different service in the past and they're like, oh, I'm just going to get denied. Or, oh, I don't want to apply for a credit card. Or, oh, I don't want to have a hard credit check. Right. So
mm,
when Cherry contacts an office, immediately the first things we hear are, oh, no, we're fine with what we have. It barely works anyway. We barely use it or barely offer it. So we're good. And we hear that because they're constantly hearing negative things from their patient base. Right. And that's really Cherry's trying to change all of that. Okay.
mm. Very
The
cool.
other big like misconception that offices has is that it's too expensive, right? We hear from our doctors we need to cut costs. We need to find ways to save, right? We want to be as profitable as we can be. And that's true, and we absolutely all want that, right? But what Cherry's view is yes, there are merchant fees with Cherry, but you pay for merchant fees to save your staff time on chasing your patients so that you have to call the unscheduled treatment list less often because we're already getting you to get those patients scheduled because there's a way for
Mhm.
them to move forward, right? But truly, if we can move more patients forward and you have to pay a small merchant fee on that over losing that entire case, that's a huge difference. So my challenge
Yeah.
to practices when I talk to them is always, hey, look at the last 12 months and see what your unscheduled treatment is. Let's use Cherry for a couple of months and just see how much we can increase your case acceptance, and let's see what your unscheduled treatment goes down to.
Nice. I love that. And then from your perspective, like when you are helping and training and teaching a practice to use your services, what are some of the changes, the things that you see happen when somebody implements using your patient finance system in the practice?
You got it. Yeah. So if Cherry is truly being offered proactively, what happens is a 25 to 30% increase in case acceptance on average. And that's from all of our offices. We're constantly reevaluating that. We're constantly looking at all of our practices that are using us. We are constantly trying to make things better for them.
Hmm.
So we're getting feedback from offices daily that it just makes the conversation so much more easy and so much more smooth. It is instilling confidence I mean, it's the hardest conversation for us to have too, right? We're in dentistry because we care and because we want people to be healthy and get the treatment they need. But then to tell someone that you can't help them financially and they can't have the services rendered, it's
Right.
heartbreaking, right? So to be able to like say like, oh my gosh, I got another patient approved and they were able to move forward with treatment and get healthy, like that's a great feeling for the staff because they're getting patients healthy again. So just the confidence that we're instilling in the staff members to be able to have those conversations, it's not such a hard, difficult financial conversation anymore. So constant feedback about that, which we absolutely adore and love.
I love your attitude about patient financing. This is very good. I mean, it is. It's refreshing to see you talk about the why behind patient financing, which is health and helping
Yeah.
people. I mean, that's fun that the leadership of Cherry is kind of getting down to the people that are connecting with the patients. So that's very cool. Awesome.
You got it.
Um, One thing when I talk to Crown Council resource partners, you see a huge landscape. So you're seeing all sorts of practices across the United States where some of the
Mhm.
Crown Council practices, they only see their own practice. Um, so if you were to look at that big landscape, all the practices that you see day to day, what are, I don't want to put you on the spot, But what are one or two things that the very best practices are doing when it comes to patient financing? But and you can
Yeah.
say Cherry, but if there's anything else that comes to mind, that'd be awesome.
The number one thing I see is that
Mhm.
offices will offer Cherry or whatever financial company they are offering proactively. Currently, dentistry works on a reactive base. So, what we
Mhm.
do, how it usually goes is the patient comes in for the consult, then they sit down and we present the treatment plan, which has a bunch of numbers on there that they have no clue what any of it means. And they are
Right.
only focused on the bottom line, right? Financials are the
Right.
pain point. Okay. And then we reactively we see that they're shutting down, we see that they're locking up and they're probably not going to schedule. And then we're like, oh, but we can save the deal. We've got this, right?
Mhm.
And then the patient says, no, like I can't move forward. That's still, I'm just not interested anymore, right? We've already allowed them to enter that moment of sticker shock. So we see offices that are most successful with patient financing. They show the full ticket price with a monthly cost next to it. That allows, I mean, let's talk about iPhones. If I go to buy an iPhone today and I see that it's $1,000, I go, not gonna
Right.
happen.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
when I see it's 41.92 for 24 months, I'm like, oh, I can make that happen, right?
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
much more inclined to take a deep breath and say, can I make this work? Right. But if
Mhm.
I'm just told it's $5,000 up front, I'm not moving
Not
forward.
gonna do it.
It's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. So
Smart.
just we have to be proactive. We have to give the solution before they react. Because if we
Great
allow
advice.
them to get to that sticker shock moment, we failed them. We failed them.
Yeah, great advice. I love that, Ashley. Good. I know that yesterday you and your team, we created this really nice Crown Council plus Cherry landing page, and I'll put this in the notes of the show and when we send out the recording to make sure that everyone knows that this is the landing page we can go to connect with you. Um, when it comes, Ashley, to just I want more information. I want to sign up.
Mhm.
This is it right here. Just first name, last name, name of practice, and then just kind of scroll through these. Is this the best place?
You got it correct. Absolutely.
Okay.
So they're going to go through that and then they're going to be routed to one of our reps at Cherry. You got
Okay.
it.
Um, and then I know Greg put out onto the email network yesterday Sam's phone number. So always a fun thing when the when resource partners give us a personal person to call. I'm sure he's excited about that. But yeah, I mean that is what everyone wanted was who do we connect with at Cherry
Yeah.
and
I
Sam
am
and you.
I am
Yeah,
also happy to shout out my phone number if you guys would like
do
that
it.
directly. I am
Yeah.
happy to help anyone that reaches out. My telephone number is 415 eight
Okay.
seven zero 7994. I'll repeat that again. It's 415 870 7994.
Are you in San Francisco?
I am not. I'm actually in Summers, Montana.
Okay. That's a San Francisco area code, so I just wonder.
Yes, it
Very cool.
is. You got it. I had to get reassigned a number the last like 6 months.
Oh,
Someone hacked my number and I was like, oh
shoot. All right, cool. Well, Ashley, I appreciate you. I know we kind of just set this up yesterday, so thank you for making it work.
no. Yes.
Thanks for the time you spent with us, and I'm sure we'll be in touch. So thanks.
Thank you so much, Stuart. I truly appreciate you. I'm so excited to help more offices bring Cherry live, get more patients taken care of. That's my goal, right? If I can help every patient in the world, I would. Of
Thank you, Ashley. Grateful for you.
course.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Okay,
Stuart.
bye
You have a
bye.
great one. Bye.
You too. All right, very cool. When Steve and the Tops team does their 50 ways to pay. So we do a webinar, and there are so many different ways to get a patient to pay for service. Having multiple payment options is key. So, Jerry, very important. And there are other patient financing opportunities, especially through Crown Council Resource Partners, that allow patients to have multiple ways to pay when they come into the practice. So, very good. Another great option for you. And we're grateful to partner with Cherry. So, all right, we have Tanya Bailey. We haven't had Tanya on in so long. Tanya's in the waiting room. Let's bring her in. She texted me a few minutes ago, said she was ready. So, grateful to have Tanya with us today. Tanya was one of the. Tanya, hi.
Hi.
I'm just thinking I should have brought you on to talk to Cherry because you were one of the ones that chimed in on the email network about them.
Yeah. we were just talking about Cherry up front. I'm in Yuma, Arizona with endodontist Dr. Sorensen and Thompson, and we were just having a lively conversation about Cherry.
Well, I mean, it's funny. Um, I was just telling Ashley, the rep from Cherry, I said, I don't think I've ever had anyone, a resource partner, respond like a response on the email network when when it went out. There were so many people that were like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever." So, anyway, very cool. When you work with Cherry, why is it, Tanya? What is it that's a little different about them when it comes to patient financing?
Yeah, I think one of the things is the teams love it because it's super easy and they don't have to have a long explanation regarding credit checks because everything is a stop. If they have the pre-approval, the amount they pre-approve is a guaranteed amount. And then I'm in an office, by the way, so there might be some background noise.
That's okay.
And then
That's good.
they do approvals down to a very low credit score. So in the past with other companies, when it was hard to get their patients financed, seems that Cherry's coming through. So
I love that. I know
yeah.
they were very committed to helping patients and helping the practice. So excellent. Tanya, I wanted to chat a little bit about last weekend. You hosted the Leadership Academy. Can we talk for just a minute? Like, can you give us a high level view of what is Leadership Academy and then what you did there?
Yeah, happy to do it.
Okay.
Leadership Academy is really all about the spirit of masterminding, which is a core principle, of course, with Crown Council and Total Patient Service. So we do two really simultaneous meetings. So we, of course, have our doctors, and it's not just our clients. We had quite a few doctors represented. We had 34 different states represented. So doctors from Crown Council, doctors from TOPS, and even some that weren't yet a part of either of the organizations. But we had about 50 doctors, and then we had maybe 80 or 90 team members. And our
Nice.
focus this time, when I talk about two meetings, we had doctors together, and then we had administrative team members. And the topic is leadership. So we're always looking how to grow leaders, and we don't believe that leadership is positional. We believe it's personal. So how any one individual in the team can grow. But we do a different meeting every 6 months, and we rotate the departments. So this time was admin. In the fall, we will be with dental hygienists. I'm sorry, dental assistants. And then in the next spring, we'll be with dental hygienists. And then that cycle will repeat. So it's the one meeting we do where we change the content every single time. So
Right.
people are familiar with total immersion, people are familiar with no more hygiene, people are familiar with should you be insurance free, and topically that content stays about, the same. We're not reinventing new content every time. But Leadership Academy is really built by the attendees. So as myself and my coaching team is out in the field and seeing what's going on in dentistry, we get feedback constantly from the teams on what do you need? What do you need in addition to what we do when we're coaching? What do you need in addition to what you're getting from Crown Council resources? And so we build the agenda around that. So from a high level view, we started out, we used a theme from the essay called The Go-Getter. We did some Blue Vase Awards, which for Crown Council members, that might be similar to what we did in January with Pearl Awards. And so we recognized some team members that really went above and beyond according to their doctors and their peers. And we really talked about the definition of a go-getter, somebody who figures it out. And that was carried through the whole weekend through the content. We talked about the difference between ownership and stewardship. And Steve did a presentation to the whole group, everybody together on that. And then all through the weekend, every time we have a topic, we then take time to mastermind. So we set everything at big roundtables where team members and doctors can interact with other team members and doctors from around the country and really share, best of that spirit of the mastermind.
Yeah.
We worked through 5 levels of delegation. When is it appropriate
Nice.
to delegate and when isn't it?
I
Um,
need that. I need that lesson.
yeah, delegation is tricky. You want to delegate, but then you don't want to over delegate
Yeah.
either. And then where does the responsibility land as the owner versus the management, if you will, or leadership in the practice? Which pieces are really the doctors responsible for, and being present and setting good examples? We did a whole session where we split the groups up and talked about one of the hardest things in dentistry, which is how to have a conversation with a team member, a colleague, a subordinate, just depending on that role. How do you have a conversation where you're working towards alignment? Maybe things haven't been going exactly the way you want them to, and you want to have a conversation, and you want everybody to walk away feeling good about it. And that's tricky. And that's probably one of the most popular topics that come up. At TOPS, we call it red-green behavior.
Right.
So how to have a conversation in the green, which is good. And then we have some acronyms, which is GRIP and SMILE. And so we walk you through the system to have that conversation so that when both parties walk away, there's a commitment for changed behavior and everybody feels good about it.
Nice.
We also spent some time in the afternoon on the principle of self-efficacy and team efficacy, and did a presentation on that and how that's different than self-confidence or self-esteem. And again, in leadership, what is your role to build your team's self-efficacy and then create a culture of success where team efficacy is alive and well? And the definition of that is the team's shared belief in their ability to achieve success.
Nice.
We finished off the afternoon and all headed over to Billy Bob's.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what Billy Bob's is, it's the largest honky tonk in the United States of America. I did have a few people not from Texas say, "What exactly is a
What's
honky
a honky tonk?"
It's a lot of things. There's live bull riding done by professionals, nobody from
Not
Cops or Crown
participants.
Council was on a bull. There's food, so we had a nice traditional barbecue buffet. There's a lot of dancing. It's line dancing, two-step dancing, swing dancing, live bands, music, and adult beverages.
There you
That's
go.
honky tonk. Nobody stayed out too late because everybody was ready Saturday morning for what I think has come to be a signature piece of that meeting, which is where we split everyone up in the room by position. So we put doctors in a room at tables, team members in a room, and we do what we call the Pearl session. And that's where every person has an opportunity to share something best of in their practice that they would not want to go to work every day without. And then we do several rounds of that. So it gives everybody in the room an opportunity not just to talk to the person on the right or the left, but to really interact particularly with everybody. So we do that for about 90 minutes, and we were talking about that experience for them and collaborating. And in fact, I'll give a shout out to one of my doctors, Chris Hammond. Dr. Sorensen said, just in a casual conversation with Dr. Hammond, I got 3 things to bring back and implement into my practice.
Nice.
So it is the spirit of sharing. And so we finished up with another editorial from about 120 years ago called A Message to Garcia. And it was really just a wrap up again of this spirit of figuring out how to make things happen in spite of the obstacles, in spite of the challenges, in spite of even maybe the perception that it's impossible, how to make it possible. So that was our 2 days, really jam-packed 2 days. Everybody walks away. Of course, our goal is to help them feel inspired and to get some really usable things they can go back and do differently in their practice. And that's what we did. Oh, and can I give a shout out to the best video ever? One of the most popular pieces this time, Stuart, you contributed.
Yeah, they should have been there. They could have seen it. Too bad.
It was so good. For everyone that's attended the annual event, I know that we all love the intro countdown and then the amazing video that our own Stuart Anderson always puts together for those. And thank you big hit. We did that for this meeting, and that video was so impactful. I had clients asking, "Can I get a copy of the video? I want to show my
Fun.
kids. I want to show my
Kids.
spouses. I want to show my team." Yeah,
That's fun.
kids.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tanya.
So,
Hey, when you are faced with the decision, so you're in a practice and they're like, I don't think we're going to spend the money to go to Leadership Academy, the time, like that's not going to really bring money back into the practice. I know that sounds silly to you, but will you walk through the decision when you are talking to a dentist who is like, we can't spare the time for leadership training? What happens when a team comes back from this?
yeah, it's really interesting because in dentistry, and I know you're going to talk to Dr. Hornbrook next, and clinical CE is so important, is so important. And I think always going back to the well and drinking from the well to hone your clinical skills is important. Equally important, would you agree, Stuart, if you're a business owner, is to grow your business ownership skills, your
You have to.
leadership skills. I
Yes.
haven't gone to dental school myself, but I don't know to what degree they're really teaching the interpersonal leadership skills in dental school to the degree they do the dentistry.
Yeah.
And that's just, I think, a void in our industry in general. And so the benefit is, in my opinion, and not just for the doctors, for the teams too, but the benefit is if you can go back and get better results in your practice because you know that you get results through people,
Yeah.
not tasks, what value would you place on that? And I can't assign a value for someone, but that would be my question. And then what void do you think you may be experiencing because there's probably skills that you don't know that you don't know.
Absolutely.
So every time we do these, I think first and foremost, it's the inspiration. You hear all the time, whether it's in dentistry or in periodicals, burnout and, sick and tired of being sick and tired and hopelessness and the grind, all those things. And I believe these meetings are just the antidote for that you come around and you not only get to be around other people and go, oh, so they've had that same challenge but they overcame it, so maybe I can too. But just really putting gas in the engine and then learning things. What I probably hear the most is I didn't even know that I needed to know that. And now having just a brand new skill set to go back and communicate more effectively. The number one probably frustration I hear across the board in dentistry, if we say, what do you feel like is a deficit in your practice? They always say communication. We need to communicate more. But nobody really knows how to assign a value or a definition to that. So that's really the heart of what we do is how do you go back and connect with your teams and appropriately and lead your teams, not manage them, but lead them.
Yeah. And I love that. I've heard that on the live stream before, which is communication. That's like a constant life skill that has to be worked on. And you've said that before. Steve has said that before, which is congratulations on working in your practice. How much time is set aside to work on the practice?
Right.
And I think that there's probably like a ratio, like 100 hours to 4. I mean, there has to be like, if you're working in your practice for 100 hours, you need to at least have 10 hours of working on. I mean, there's got to be an effective ratio here.
Well,
and,
I'm going to just ask you this question. So I think you do a few athletic competitive events. Would that be fair to say?
It's fair. It's fair.
Okay. So if you're going to be in a race, a bike race, how long is the bike race usually?
Right. I mean, so let's say 4-hour race.
Okay. How many hours did you spend preparing for the 4-hour race?
Hundreds.
Right. And in sports, that makes sense to us. We know the football team is practicing all week for the 60-minute game. We know the golfer has been, I don't even know how many hours of golfing and driving range and conditioning to go do the 4-day, Masters. And in business, it's completely the other way. We're going to work, do the job, but how much time are we really investing in honing our skills to do the job? And again, clinically and from a leadership standpoint, communication. It's great to be a great dentist clinically. And if you can't communicate to your team or your patient, you may not get to do very much of it.
For real. I agree. And Tanya, I have a sticker that sits on top of my bike that reminds me of this idea. It says, hope is not a strategy. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but sometimes you arrive at an event and you're like, oh man, I hope this goes good. That's that's terrible. Like, oh, well, have you prepared? Oh,
Right.
well, hope it goes good. Like,
Yeah. Or do you just
sometimes,
wake up this morning and lock in those shoes to the pedals and you might fall?
but I mean, I think that that is a fun thing to look back on and say, no, we've prepared, we've practiced,
Mhm.
we're ready for these scenarios in the
Right.
office. So cool. I love it. I'm going to share my screen real quick for Leadership Academies. This is just the Total Patient Service website.
Mhm.
So under the seminars tab, you will see Leadership Academy at the very top. And register today. In 6 months, you'll be gathering again. And like Tanya said, this time, dental assistants and doctors.
Yeah.
So like she said, if you didn't hear, it changes every time there's a different leadership
Right.
academy, a different team member can attend. So
And I'll tell you, the last two times we've done this time April of this year and then fall of last year, it has become the thing. And I think everybody's hungry for this. And as we were rolling into the beginning part of this year, we were sold out. And we actually had to go back to the drawing board and find a larger space in
okay.
order to accommodate the number of people that wanted to sign up. And I know people are always like, sign up now before you lose your spot. But in the most literal sense,
That's
we
real.
already have quite a few pre-registrations for October, and we have limited space because we've already had to, commit to the space that we're going to use. So
Okay.
I would absolutely get signed up sooner than later. And if you need help with that, answers at totalpatient.com. Susan Pruitt on our team is on speed dial ready to help you get set up. And I would absolutely don't come alone. Bring your dental assistants, bring your lead dental assistant, but it's always beneficial to have more than one person come so you can collaborate.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you, Tanya. Grateful
Happy to do
to
it.
grateful to have you on. And your smile looks beautiful, by the way. I don't know if I've seen, maybe I just don't notice, but we're sitting here staring at each other's teeth. Your smile looks beautiful. So very good.
Hey, I know some great dentists.
I know. I say this. Me
Yeah.
too. Thumbs up. Thank you, Tanya. Grateful you'd be
Good to
with
see
us
you.
today.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay,
Thanks for
bye.
having me.
Thanks. Okay. All right, very good. Leadership Academy, get signed up. We're grateful for Tanya and the TOPS team that hosts the leader. It's an incredible part of dentistry, training leadership, and then training your team to be great leaders. So, I have one more quick interview with Dr. Hornbrook. I'm going to share that with you. Hold on, I'm going to just move a few things around on my screen. So recently, in the last 4 or 5 years, we've had over 250 brand new Crown Council members come through the Young Dentist program. Every year, 40 to 50 new young dentists. And a lot of them they finish the Young Dentist program and then they say, well, what's next? And so I'm going to share a quick interview I did with David. David and I and the Crown Council team, TOPS team, are putting together a new, it's called Forever Young. It's a new little live event that we're going to do in November, and a 10-minute interview with David that explains it, and hopefully will shed a little light on what we're trying to do and educate just a little bit. So hold on. I don't think I shared my sound. Okay, here we go. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm here with David Hornbrook, and we are going to talk about the Forever Young dental meeting that we are planning for this year. It's a brand new idea that actually David came up with after years and years of doing our Young Dentist program. We said, what comes next? A lot of our young dentists are even asking that question. They say, incredible young dentist program, and they're like, well, now what? Where do I go? What do I do? So I ask you that, David. Maybe what's the vision behind our Forever Young program? Your thoughts when we said, let's put this together.
Well, as you're right, it's an idea I've had for several years, and it finally come to fruition, and I'm very excited about it for this November. You know, my goal is we have these amazing 50 young dentists that they're going to be the leaders in dentistry. And we talk clinical in the summertime. They come for 2 separate weekends about a month apart, and we prep and seat, and we do our didactic information. But we don't see them again until maybe the Crown Council annual event, which is not a bad thing, except a lot of them they're just ripe for more clinical dentistry. And I thought, you know what, instead of making them wait till the annual event, let's create a group of young dentists or younger dentists that could meet at a separate time than the annual event, not in substitution of the annual event by any means, but in conjunction with the annual event where we could do more clinical dentistry, where they can brainstorm, they can learn about new things that we didn't talk about in the summertime in our 2 weekends. And that's really where it came from. And I put together a program with obviously Stuart and I did this together. I think the leading speakers in their fields in all of dentistry. And I want this to be kind of a power pack, fast paced day and a half, where each speaker gets only 90 minutes to give us like just a fire hose amount of knowledge and expertise so we can take home to our practice right away.
Nice. Yeah. And with those speakers that we've asked, it is a lot of different topics are going to be talked about. Maybe you could share that for just a minute, David. Like, what kind of topics were you looking for? Where are we drawing some of this information from?
Well, you know, there's topics I think that are hot topics and things we're interested in. One is, I think, the future of dentistry. Where are we going? And so I invited my friend, Dr. Shashi Singhal, which is head of scientific programs and scientific sessions through Ivoclar, which I think is certainly one of the leaders in dentistry, whether it be with printable materials, whether it be with digital, whether it be ceramics, whether it be resins, whether it be cements. And I think he has a tremendous vision of where are we going to be in the next 5 years, which includes AI as well. And I think it's important for us to understand that. And I'm excited to see where he is going to lead us in giving us that vision. We're going to talk about prepless or minimal preparation dentistry. Again, another very, very hot topic by an excellent speaker. We're also going to talk about the digital dental workflow, which is something that a lot of us are kind of familiar with, maybe some of us a little bit more than others. But Wade Pilling out of Boise, Idaho is going to share with us his workflow, which he's doing some amazingly beautiful dentistry. Amazing speaker, amazing dentist. We're going to have Peter Peasy, which I think is one of the finest ceramists in the world, out of Staten Island. Very good friend of mine, an amazing speaker. He used to be in a rock and roll band. So, I mean, he works the crowd and he's energetic, big Italian guy that loves to eat. And he's going to share with us mastering our lab communication so that we can provide better dentistry for our patients. Dr. Chris Hammond, our own Crown Council member, is going to talk about the new patient experience. I mean, Chris has that down better than anyone I've met in dentistry. And he's going to share with us his protocol and his sequencing as he's bringing a new patient into practice and increasing treatment acceptance. We're also going to have Leonard Tao. Now, some of you may have heard Leonard speak. Leonard, he speaks all over the world, and he's busy almost every single week, and we were lucky to get him for November. He talks about increasing and improving your online experience, your online exposure, whether it's a bad review or how to get better reviews. Again, that's something, especially as young dentists, when we're trying to build practices or build a practice within another practice if we're an associate. That's something that's unbelievably important. And we get a lot, I think, of information, oftentimes misleading. And he's again, a really entertaining and a very fun speaker. And we're looking forward to that. Who else do we have? Stuart, I know we have some more.
Let's see if we got it. Yeah, Dr. Segal, Leonard, Dennis, Nunez.
Rolando Nunez.
Yeah.
I mean, what I wanted to do is pick speakers that are entertaining and the best at what the best they are in their field. And we've all been to educational opportunities where it might be good knowledge, not a great speaker, or vice versa. Rolando is the head of scientific, he's a doctor, scientific services and research at Bisco, which I think is the leader. I say it's the Mount Everest of adhesive dentistry. And he puts together a really fun program on adhesive dentistry update. And you'll see what I mean when I say fun after you see him. And we're going to record this. We're going to record. Okay, good.
You bet.
He is hilarious. He does this thing called bonding in beer, where he basically does beer tasting along with the bonding. And it's absolutely hilarious. If you look him up, Dr. Rolando Nunez, and that'll be a lot of fun. And again, what he's going to talk about bonding to dentin, bonding to restorative materials like zirconia is, I mean, he's got the research. There's no one that knows it better than Rolando does. Who else do we have? I don't want to miss anybody.
That's it. You got it all. Yeah,
Oh,
you got
that's
them
it. Yeah. So we have, and then we're going to have a panel on the end of Friday. So, I'm not actually speaking. I'm going to be opening it up with Stuart and just introducing the speakers, kind of get the people excited just because people know me. I think a lot of young dentists are tired of hearing me speak anymore. So this is our event, but not me. And then the end on Friday, though, we're going to have a panel discussion where we're just going to have everyone in the front and you can ask them whatever they want. And I think that'll be really fun. I'd like to, as you get attendees, Stuart, is to ask them to either email or text you questions that we can load ahead of time, because I know that some people in audiences are afraid to raise their hand, and but they have a great question, and so we can answer some of those questions ahead of time. We can kind of feed our group. So go ahead.
Did we mastering laboratory communication with Peter Pitts? Did you
Peter
talk about
Pitts. Yeah, okay. I did.
Okay,
he's great.
Okay.
He's great. So that'll be a lot of fun. And it's the 7th and 8th of November, which is all day Friday. And then we have the panel, and then till 1 o'clock on Saturday. So people will be able to fly home Saturday night or spend time in Dallas. It's right outside of Dallas, and go home Sunday. But we'd like people to get in there Thursday early if possible. We're going to have a little get together on Thursday night to socialize and have fun. So as you register, and we have a limited space, we can only have 100 people. And I know that we are about 50% full just as of now. And we'd like to fill it with great dentists and great, exciting doctors, young doctors, and maybe some that are middle of the road doctors. I know we've had a lot of interesting doctors that I'm not young anymore, but I want to come. So if you're interested, register early and make sure you contact Stuart, because this is going to sell out and we can't open it up to really any more people than 100. So get on it.
Well, and with it being the first time, we thought we've got a place, holds 100 people. Let's see how this goes. Let's see who attends. And I don't want to call it like a test, but at the same time, hosting a new meeting is always kind of exciting. And at the same time, we'll see who comes and how it goes. We're expecting big things, David. Whenever you put things out, or we haven't even actually. I mean, you put out an email to the email network. That's really the only thing we've done so far to tell people about it. So I agree with you. It'll sell out quick. So
and we haven't marketed it, and we really haven't opened it up to people outside of the Crown Council, and we made it very affordable. We did that very intentionally. I mean, to get 6 world-class speakers for for Crown Council members, it's $320.
And then non-Crown Council members pay around $800. And with that, we hope that everyone who is drawn to this type of meeting becomes a Crown Council member. That's our hope. Is if you do sign up and you pay that extra price, that's fine. But we would hope that you join our community and be part of this group. So little incentive.
I totally agree. It's going to be fun. This isn't going to be our last. It's our first, but it's definitely not going to be our last.
Okay, good.
We may have to find a bigger venue next year, though.
Yeah, I agree. Very good, David. Grateful for you. Thankful that you're the mastermind behind this. And I'm looking forward to kind of collaborating with you and all these new great speakers. I've never met a lot of these groups. I've never even met these speakers, so I'm excited for them.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy them a lot.
Cool. Thanks, David. Everybody, the link with this video, you'll find the registration link and pricing, and obviously reach out to me with any questions, especially on travel or the program, the agenda. We're happy to help. So looking forward to it.
Good. I'm looking forward to it as well.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Grateful you would join us today. Our live guest, our recorded segment. And then next week, we'll be back. Same time, we're going to be talking to some top Smiles for Life offices and what they're doing to get the word out to their community and raise money through whitening. Hopefully, we'll talk to Ultradent, some of their sales reps, to talk about the products and changes that they're making to the products and new things that we're using as part of Smiles for Life. So we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us today, and grateful for Crown Council Live and this awesome community that we were part of. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.